Hi everyone, and welcome to 14 Short Street, the prototype, affectionately called One Temple Lionsgate. And my name's Michael Keen Chin, and I guess you could say I'm the crazy guy that had a bit of the concept to bring this up. So hey, we're just gonna go with flow with this. I haven't rehearsed any of this, so we're just gonna go with it. And let me tell you a little bit about One Temple. Uh, this place was a derelict, rundown house. Basically, no one wanted it, and it was just left to kind of fall apart, really. And here it is. And what happened was that I just had this idea that I wanted to make it into a bit of a healing space for a dear friend of mine. She was going through a rough time. She had cancer, and I just wanted to create a nice, safe healing space for her. And so, anyway, me and a friend, Angela, who was living with me at the time, we decided to just get some paintbrushes and just paint up the walls, just paint them white. And she'd been to this amazing festival called the New Kind Festival, and a whole bunch of people came out from there and helped us to create the art on the walls. This was actually done by Angela and her friend Di, an amazing street artist. He sketched it out. You know, I said, hey, I wanted to call this place like Unicorns Tripping Rainbows, just something that's really bright and fun. So when people come into this space, they're just greeted by so much color and so much fun. And, you know, it's, yeah, that's what it turned into. And then, you know, we found beds off the street and mattresses, and we were able to put them together. And, you know, a lot of people from, a lot of youth and older people and whatever else just came in off the streets and things like that. And they had a safe space to stay, you know. And a lot of us, me included, we couldn't really pay the rent. We just kind of scrounged together as much money as we could to keep the rent going. You know, we tried to do it on the philosophy of a gifting kind of community. And so we didn't want to kind of really dictate to people who didn't have any permanent employment what they should give or gift. And so we just did our best. And some people had jobs, full-time jobs, and they were able to gift a bit more. Um, here's what we call Wonderland. And Wonderland is one of my favorite rooms. And this started to become more of the concept of a room that we could rent out for Airbnb, because we're trying to find out different ways that we could make this a self-sustainable house. And so this amazing artist called Sam Kim just did this Cheshire cat, and it was amazing. I remember seeing him do it, and he just knocked it over in like maybe 3 to 6 hours or something like that, because he'd come in whenever he had some spare time, just after studies or work, and he would just be in here with his mask and a whole bunch of spray cans, and he just did this amazing Cheshire cat. And it was interesting because when Sam was doing this Cheshire cat, there was this dear friend of, well, another amazing person who came and stayed at One Temple. Her name's Louisa, and she's from Colombia. And Louisa got inspired by Sam's artwork, and she was sketching away furiously, I remember, over in Aladdin's cave, and I'll show you that later. And she was sketching away furiously, and she did this amazing sketch of this kind of forest with mushrooms and crystals. And actually this here, this bit with this kind of globe area, I think she'd actually, well, I remember she'd actually done like a Cheshire cat, and then she rubbed it out for some reason. Yeah, that was before actually I knew that, I don't know, I got it mixed up around a bit, I think she started sketching that first, and she'd sketched a Cheshire cat in it. And I knew that Sam was going to come in and do this wall, and she'd heard about that. And then Sam said, hey, can I do a Cheshire cat? I'm like, yeah, man. And then she'd actually erased the Cheshire cat out of that and turned it into this beautiful kind of crystal globe. And I don't know if you can see the detail in there, but there's actual kind of like sparkles all through it. And anyway, so Louisa had seen Sam doing this mural, and then I said to her, hey, I have an iPad, I've got a projector, why don't you take a photo of it? and we'll project it up onto the wall and you can do it as a mural. And so she did, and she got some help from some of the other people that were staying at one temple. There's Sandra Troy, there's Paul, there's Angela, there's a whole bunch of other people, Maddie, and a whole bunch of other people. I can't even remember off the top of my head, but they all just started adding to this amazing mural. And the paints that we had to add to this mural were just paints that we got from a local paint shop that, unfortunately for them, they had to close down one of their Bondi stores. And so we had a whole bunch of paint that we got for like around about like $400, but like so much paint. And we were able to like cover most of these walls and everything with the white paint, and you know, all these other murals and everything like that. So to me it was just amazing money well invested, because everyone got to be creative. There's this creative outlet, and it's just, yeah, it's just beautiful. And so yeah, this is Wonderland. And here's the rest of the unicorn room, and even with its little coloured lights. I love these lights, they're just so much fun, especially at night. It just changes the whole mood and vibe of the room. And so we're gifted many kind of little unicorn toys and things like that. My sister from Tasmania even sent these down. And you know, we have all this other kind of artwork. This is some artwork by Hunter. He's really talented. His artwork just kind of really flows. He just kind of creates this stuff in flow. And I remember Hunter, you know, he'd be sitting out the front playing this beautiful guitar. I don't know whose guitar this is. Hunter's added some artwork there, and I think he's really in love with it. I hope, if no one claims it, I'd love to gift it to him, because he's such a talented musician. So he'd be sitting here just filling this space with music and just chilling out on this bed and just playing some guitar. And yeah, follow the white rabbit. Don't quit your daydream. I love all these kind of like positive things that people would put up. So this next room, this one, actually Louise's friend and my friend, everyone's friend, Dario, he would stay in here most of the time. And we called this room affectionately Trippy Spaceship. And so with Trippy Spaceship, you know, it's all about kind of celestial spaces and, you know, aliens and things like that. We wanted to also add this to one of the walls. And actually Maddie drew this amazing picture, and I remember meeting her at this place called Stony Creek Permaculture Farm, where my good friends Steve and Mel are, and they're incredible people. They're doing really good things, and they helped inspire this kind of space, because I wanted to kind of create a similar model to what they're doing, but in an urban environment, a self-sustainable space, a self-sustainable healing space for just anyone. Doesn't matter what religion or beliefs you have, or whether you've come off the streets or you happen to live in an ivory tower. You know, we all go through shit. Right? We all go through trippy space shit, and the space in the head and the heart and the soul. And sometimes we just want a place where we can just rest and recover from whatever trauma we've gone through, you know. And so, you know, here's an amazing mural that Maddie did. And Maddie came from Stony Creek Permaculture Farm, and she hung out with us for a little while here. And this beautiful artwork is done by one of my friends, Haruo Morita, who is an amazing, incredible artist, Japanese artist. She now lives in France, in the south of France, with a sweetheart there. And here you got all these little things like plug into source, ray guns, you know, a little UFO, and yeah, so you kind of get the vibe of where we're going with all of this stuff. And then Dario added all these beautiful kind of sigils or symbols and geometries and things like that. That was his thing. Yeah. And then, oh my goodness, this beautiful mural came together. Lucy was inspired. Lucy is an incredible activist for animal rights and also just for wanting to seek change in this world, positive change, because humanity, I think, just like a whole bunch of other people that have come through here, I think we can do better. I think we really are the custodians of Earth, and our our positive and good principles and actions should stand for Earth's family. And so this is one of my core beliefs. And I believe that we can make a change today, right now, like we're in 2018 now. And so, we can make life resolutions, right? For our Earth's family. Because, I came to realize that we really are in a closed environment, and I'll get more into that later. But I just want to talk about this beautiful mural, and because we affectionately called it Lionsgate, and she's just done this beautiful lion. There's other animals here: cows, roosters, chickens. I think that's like some sort of jaguar or something like that. Snakes and like some ninja dude. The moon up there. Just just outside of trippy space shit, so, or celestial space, whatever you want to call it. And there's so much detail in this. I love it. And then there's poetry written all through it. I love this eye. And then the rabbit. I was born in the year of the rabbit, so that's kind of like my favorite little thing in this mural. But I mean, I love the whole thing. This tree is just amazing. So yeah, I've got like a little mirror here, and behind it actually is a blackboard, and we'd write little messages and things to each other, messages of encouragement. We've got some, I think that's a mask from Bali, that sort of thing. And we've got this son. Mikey added some eyes. Mikey, oh my goodness, Mikey, he was like, I guess you could say like the macro version. We kind of had a joke, he's like macro Mikey, like a macro version of me somehow. I love his creative mind, and he's just wild and out there. And I remember the first time he came into one temple, he was kind of a bit like, oh, gung-ho and everything like that. And I wasn't there at the time, but apparently he did this kind of flip, this combat roll, and totally landed it. And everyone was like, whoa, that's so cool. And he's like, yeah, watch me, I'll do it again. And he did it again, and he, did this other flip, but then he landed wrong and busted up his shoulder. And it was so funny because I didn't really know his story at the time, but he told me later that he was homeless. He had nowhere to go, got kicked out of home with a misunderstanding with his mum. And him and his dad don't get along, or it's been hard to get along with him. And so Mikey was basically going to be out on the streets, and he was going to break into a house to stay there. And I only found this out later, but he made this funny comment where like he was going to break into a house, but then he came here and a house broke him. And we're kind of glad it did, because he didn't do any kind of crazy stupid shit, and he was able to stay here and grow. And I'm so proud of Mikey and everyone else that has come through One Temple. Some of them have shared stories with me, others haven't, but they've come here for whatever reason, and they felt safe. Like I remember Christine, she would just kind of come along with Hunter some nights and then just sleep here, and she wouldn't really say anything. She'd come and eat the food that we'd had donated from St. Marlowe's bakery, which was amazing. Like, I think there are so many bakeries out there that would generally just kind of throw out a lot of their stock at the end of the day. But St. Marlowe's, we had a dear friend, Bree, and we met Bree through another guy called Ananda, who came to stay with us, and he had visited from Phoenix Pond over in Western Australia, and then he came over to One Temple because he heard about it. And he was really cool because he really kind of got us to look at what we were doing, like even to really go into detail with how we recycle and what we're recycling. And it's like, we can't be putting like, rubbish, in bottles and stuff and then expecting that to be recycled. No, we have to be so much more aware. And of what we're doing. And anyway, it was just to, get back to the story. Christine would just come, she'd just stay. I didn't really know her story. And, but at least she felt safe here, she felt like she could be safe here and just do what she needed to do, and then off she'd go. So I'm great. I'm grateful for people like that. Um, so yeah, let me take you through to soul food. We're still just flowing with this all, okay? And so, welcome to soul food. Soul food is our kitchen, our massive, 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 massive kitchen. And yeah, I'll get back to that soon. But one of the first things to go up in this house was this incredible mandala. And this was created by Nathan Starchild, an amazing installation artist amongst other things. But yeah, he actually had to battle through a lot to actually get this mandala on this wall, which I feel like really locks in the soul of one temple. And as does all the artwork, but this was one of the first pieces to go up, if not the first piece. And during the time it was going up, we had like me and Adrian like banging away in this bathroom trying to get a toilet to not leak, and there was Dario knocking holes in the wall so that we could install this door and everything. So you can imagine like the whole place just sounded like this crazy construction site and really, really, really noisy. And there was Nathan Starchild trying to like zen out and just totally focus on this mandala. And he had his earphones in, but he did an amazing job because I just love all of the symbology in it. And I'm not going to say what it means to me because everyone has their own meanings, but I'm so grateful for Nathan Starchild. And I really had an opportunity to go with him to Burning Man at one stage to help him document his artwork, but I had to make a tough decision, and I couldn't afford it at the time. I couldn't afford it as well as wanting to support one temple. So I had to let that dream go. I've always wanted to go to Burning Man. I've been to Burning Seed and Blazing Swan and other amazing bush dwarfs, and one day I'll get there. I know I will. And let me tell you a bit about soul food. So in this kitchen, this bench top actually looked really, really kind of just average, and so I had this idea of like, hey, why don't we just sand it all down and then we can just write on it and write artwork? Because I remember seeing like old family dining tables and things like that, and sometimes people had etched things in them, or it just reminded me of school tables, like where back in the day you kind of just etch and write stuff in them. And so I thought this would be great because anyone that comes through to one temple, they could just leave their mark, and not all of us are exceptionally artistic. Like, I know for me, like, I've got a lot of other talents, but painting and drawing and things like that isn't one of my greatest talents, and I find it hard. But it's just really cool to see everyone just create something here, out of love. And we have this kind of cool techno Jesus guy that was gifted to us by one of the neighbors, and we love it just because like it just spins around so techno colored and everything like that. But essentially, like, we're all one big family here, and family means no one gets left behind. And there's so many words of encouragement here on what feeds the soul, and we're just open to any religion, anyone coming through. There's no judgments in that sense. We just want to be good people, helping other people, and here's one of mine. I wrote this one. It's "Stroftness feeds my soul, being both strong and soft." Just, yeah, we made up lots of words, like Sandra Troy made up flowsome. I love that word, flowsome. This awesome and flow together. We had some amazing artists like Jenny and Anthony who, they create this kind of like 3D art kind of stuff. So I love this butterfly. It just looks like it's just lifting off the table, and then there's a little fork here. It's kind of faded a bit. So if you ever need a fork, it's virtually there. And then Tom. Oh man, Tom, he's amazing. Yeah, he really stepped into the fire, and he did a lot for this space. And he wrote this. I didn't even know that he'd done this until later. I had a time-lapse camera set up in the corner, and I'd always wondered who'd done it until I watched the video back and I saw that, oh my goodness, Tom wrote this, What Feeds Your Soul. And I love it. And this little symbol, some of you might wonder why I use it. I use it because it came to me in a dream in Bali. I was with a dear friend, Demi, and she was going through some tough stuff. And poor Demi, she was in a bit of a dark place where she was just getting so much predatory male attention. And I just thought, hey, you can get through this. And so she really loved the symbol of the elephant. And I said, you can stomp through this. Just let's walk through the streets of Bali, and all those guys that are going chantik, chantik, and, trying to get your attention, taxi, taxi miss, or, even just tourists and other guys there. It's just like, nah, you're just going to stomp your way through. You're just not going to look at them. And so, it was beautiful. We helped each other through a really kind of rough time. Maybe I was trying to find more of myself and trying to understand this world that I was living in, and how to be an artist and sustain myself in this kind of what I felt was a really kind of consumerist, commercialized world. And I thought, well, what really is feeding my soul? And it was good. We helped each other through that time. And during that time, she had nowhere to go either, actually, because the place she was staying at, there were just these horrible men that had access to a room and were just trying to get in there all the time, and it was terrible. And so I offered her to stay at the beautiful hotel that I was staying at, called Sania's House, and it's just amazing. It's like, if you've ever seen an Escher artwork, it's like that, but Balinese, and like Smurfs on acid had built it. It's just incredible. It's psychedelic, it's beautiful, it's romantic, it's just wonderful. And it's just a beautiful healing space as well, and so cheap to rent out. And so anyway, one night there, I'd had this dream, and that's where I saw this symbol. It came to me in a dream along with another one, which was just a circle with 3 lines going through it. And I kind of didn't really know what it meant to me, but it meant something. And so I just adopted it. And Demi knew this guy, this wonderful Indonesian guy called Joe in Ubud, in the heart of Ubud. And we went and got the tattoos done, and got them done on our ankles, and I was just like, wow, this is so cool, my first ever tattoos. And there was Joe wanting to offer me this massive big tattoo on my arm, and I'm like, no man, just these, like, and then he's like, okay, better small tattoo, big meaning, than big tattoo, no meaning. And I'm like, yeah man, that's cool, you get it, right? So, yeah, welcome to One Temple, Happy New Day, gratitude. And so those symbols to me have so many meanings, and maybe one day we can sit down and I can tell you all the stories as the definition just kept expanding and expanding. So yeah, in here, oh my goodness, I got to share with you this. This is one of our Airbnb guests, Matthew. He was inspired by the place, and he actually stayed in Wonderland as one of our first Airbnb guests, and he'd come all the way from China with his mother, and then they came to make a new life for themselves. I don't know how he's doing. I've got to find his number somewhere. But yeah, he's inspired this kind of little thing for Wonderland, and there's this kind of like dog snake creature with like angel wings and things. It's just, and one of his passions is drawing and doing anime and that sort of thing. And then here's this bathroom. This was like shocking, just covered in dust and all sorts of things. And but they've had this amazing, incredible bathtub. I love it. It's even got like these kind of claw feet, you know, down the bottom. And you know, here's the toilet that Adrian and I spent so much time trying to fix up, and we finally did. It's not leaking all over the floor. So gratitude, Adrian, and all of you other amazing new kinders. You guys are like on it. You guys have been there from day one, and I'm so grateful to you guys. Sharing is caring, right? So, yeah. Ah, kura kura. Good turtle. And here's our little kind of cleanup area. The sink isn't anywhere near the kitchen over there. It's over here, which is kind of cool, because we try to keep everything clean and try to leave positive messages, you know, like thank you for washing your dishes. Please be a gift and wash what you have used. Please give some detergent. You know, cleanliness is godliness. Please be considerate of others and wash as you go. Reset collective spaces. So, you know, we're all about this concept of keeping the flow, okay? And so it's amazing, like, because we had so many dishes and we had so many people that would come and visit and that would stay as well. We just needed lots of place to dry dishes and things like that. There's no washing machines here. And so, you know, this would be created by people who stayed here, whether it be like Tom or Jagamara, you know, like they'd find like belts and you know, little bits of things, and just, it was amazing. And then in this corner, like, I remember Amanda, she would just like put heaps and heaps of flowers and things like that. And then here, this is painted by most beautiful hippie couple. I love them. It's Loic, who I first met, and then Sophie, and they both painted up these beautiful mandalas here, you know, just with all the chakra colors and everything like that. And she'd make kombucha. We still have some kombucha here as well that Sophie would make. And I remember this story about Loic, and he was really struggling, going through a tough time, and working this job that was really, really kind of not feeding his soul. He was doing the opposite, and it felt like it was destroying it. And we had a really good talk one day and shed some tears, and I said, what do you want to do, you know? And, you know, dream big, man. Like, what do you actually want to do? And then one day I just saw him out in the backyard, and he had this fire going, and he had gotten all his clothes from his work, the clothes that he would wear to go to work in, you know, they were all black clothes because he was waitering somewhere. And so he got those black clothes and he just chucked them in the fire, his apron, including his shoes. He even was mindful enough to rip off the rubber soles off them so they wouldn't stink up the place. He just ripped them off and then chucked the shoes in, and chucked, I guess, the top part of the shoes into this fire, and just watched everything burn. And then him and Sophie were so happy, and I remember they put together a plan to start a business where they'd just go around traveling in their little van. They bought themselves a van with whatever money they had, and then Sophie found this place where she could get some clothes at cost price, like some really cool hippie threads, and she'd be gifting some to us here at One Temple and selling others and things like that. It was amazing. Yeah. Speaking of another incredible thing, this is also Tom's. Tom does this incredible artwork, and he prints it off, and he's a genius, you know. He also painted all of this stuff behind me, all this beautiful pastel work. And then you know, we'd have filtered water and things like that. You know, we'd have both types, you know, like BPA free plastic and glass, and just yeah, doing our own little experiments, really. I mean, to be honest, I can definitely taste the plastic. I prefer the glass water. And that brings me to these guys. These guys were gifted to One Temple by a neighbor. and this neighbour was moving, and so he gifted some fish to us, and they happen to be some tropical fish. I mean, I'd love to set them free, but they happen to be in the middle of Australia and not anywhere near the Amazon where their actual home is. So it is what it is, you know. But it really made me think about our Earth's family. I don't think we realize that we live very much in a closed environment like these fish. And so all of their piss and all of their shit and everything that they do in there, it ain't going anywhere. And that's the thing that we have to understand here as part of Earth's family and as part of custodians of Earth. We have this stewardship to clean up our own shit and look after this place, right? And this is the thing. We can't get water from some cosmic tap and refill it with clean water because it just doesn't exist. We can't do that with oxygen either, right? So we actually have to create our own kind of filters and clean it out. And this is one of my concerns. This is why I do want to create these sustainable urban environments for humans and animals and fish and insects and everything to survive in, because all of us collectively, all of us in here, in plants, whatever, everything really, we're Earth's family. We are a family, and we have to look after each other. And so, you know, this is where I love this. This was written by Lucas, and Lucas is an amazing wordsmith, and you know, he's been writing this stuff in English, but his native tongue is French. But check this out. Let's read this. Across the galaxies, I stumbled upon many mysteries, waking up to the social fabrics. Remembered to dream a vision that harmonize. Our principles and actions stand for Earth's family. Our principles and our actions stand for Earth's family, whether they're good, bad, positive, negative. Right now, humanity, we're supposed to be the most sentient or intelligent beings, but I don't know if we really are thinking about everything that we're creating, everything that we're making in this world. I don't think that we're thinking about our closed environment. We really need to be aware that we are living in this closed environment. I'm going to repeat it again, okay? We need to harmonize all of our principles and actions so that we're not doing detriment to ourselves. I mean, I guarantee probably that water in there, it has nuclear waste in it, right? But I can't taste it, but are we getting sick? I don't know. What are these detergents that we're using and these harsh chemicals? You know, like if it's affecting my skin, right? Then, my goodness, imagine what it's doing to everything out there, right? So, we need to do this. And this is all in flow, okay? We really do need to reset the space within our minds to engineer a visionary culture, right? We need to shift the way that we're thinking, and we need to space engineer. This is what we call space engineering, right? Space engineer this culture within here and everywhere else around us, you know? Like, how much stuff do we need? You know, how much stuff do we need? And what is this consumerist society? Why are we creating so much waste? We shouldn't be. We got this, humanity. We got this, okay? Remember, let's share the good karma. And so, we were really, really lucky to have this little fridge, and this was gifted by my wife, Penny, and we'd get some donations of food, like occasionally we'd have gifted boxes of vegetables from Tom's father or neighbors or other people. Even people that would come and stay at one temple, they would just gift some food, right? So, we always had food, and there would be, of course, St. Marley's Bakery, we had their number up here, and who to contact and things like that. And we'd be doing bread runs every day. Every day between, we'd leave here at like the latest 2:30, go pick up bread, and sometimes we would have like, 3 kind of containers full of bread. And this was amazing bread. It was organic artisan bread, and we had more than enough to feed everyone at one temple, so much so that we ended up having a little cart that we would pull along, and we'd go around to the neighborhood and just distribute all of the extra bread that we had. And we'd also on the way back from Crow's Nest, we'd be delivering bread to single moms and other similar communities and things like that. So it was amazing. Here's some amazing artwork gifted to us from Stony Creek Permaculture, where an amazing photographer, Elaine, took these photos from his travels. Brilliant. I don't know how he gets some of the kind of shimmering colours that he's done. It's almost like solarization and with this vivid colour, and it's pretty much how I see the world. Sometimes I've always wondered, like, I've always wished that people would see the way I see, and I'm pretty blind. Look how thick my glasses are, seriously. This was written by Angela, Love, Peace and Elbow Grease. She had it on the side of her van that she would kind of travel around in, and she sold it, and she helped me paint these walls and everything like that. She's amazing. Love you, Angela. Oh my goodness, these incredible artworks. These are some of the newer ones, and I feel like they were spiritually inspired. Just words cannot express. I know you're out there. Look after you, hey? And this is, oh yeah, check this out. We've even got a little Garuda up here. I miss Bali, and actually that was one of the places that also inspired one temple was Bali, and especially my friend's place, Dewa. He's doing some incredible stuff in Bali, but he's just one man, and I feel like I asked him, and he's a master. Like, when I say master, I mean it. Like, imagine a maestro in the truest sense of the word, someone who is like a conductor of a Western orchestra, but he happens to be a conductor of gamelan, and that conductor can play every instrument in that orchestra upside down and backwards and better than anyone there. And that's what Dewa is like. But the thing is, I asked him, are there any other masters coming up where you are? And he says, no, there are none, because everyone's turning to tourism, and that art and that culture will be lost. And it really hit home when Dewa had a motorcycle accident and he broke his arm. And I was like, Dewa, if you had gone, then all that knowledge is gone. And so one day I hope to create a one temple in Bali to help sustain that artist community and to sustain that culture, because otherwise it's gone, and they don't realize that that is actually a big part of their tourism, is the culture and the spirituality, the art, the Ogo Ogo festivals, Nyepi, just, my goodness, there's so much, even their mindfulness every day. And this is one of my actual favorite spaces in one temple of all time. And I remember I co-wrote this with a dear friend, Sean, from one of the most challenging spaces I've had to be in, Singapore. And I found Singapore, just me personally as an artist, I found it more claustrophobic than this tiny little toilet's cubicle, right? just because I felt I couldn't breathe there. There was so much smog coming over, or what they called haze, coming over from Indonesia, and it was just like suffocating, and I was just like, oh, I can't breathe here, and where's the nature? And I was struggling to find authentic nature. You know, there were beautiful kind of reserves that were created, but I just really wanted authentic nature and places where I could really breathe, you know. And so I really love this space because it's like everyone just would write what they love, and just comments and poetry and things that would uplift you. And here you are, you know, wallowing in your own shit, but you know, here are people just threading their own genius, right? And let me read this to you. And this is kind of the concept of one temple, because I don't believe it is necessarily a place, but it's a space. And that space is here and that's here. And it's all around us. It's all part of Earth's family. It says, you are one temple. One temple leads to many temples. Many temples do not lead to one temple. For you are one temple. You are one temple. We're all in this together. Our earth, the only home that we have, our earth is one temple. And what are we doing to this temple? Are we desecrating it? Maybe we are. Because, you know, like, it's a closed environment. Right? So I love this poem. This is done by Maddie, the same girl who did that beautiful nebula and trippy spaceship / celestial space. And it says, let me read it to you. An illuminated path, a journey which is immensely vast, energetic boundaries rebirth, a key that unlocks all things heard. Take a flamboyant leap, a kite, flying in humanity's deep, deep. Bloodlines, veins are flowing, pulsing and fierce. A story to unfold each day, hearts to sing. Distance isn't such a thing. Love in the sky, galaxies too. Connection is all about the me in you, the you in I, the love we share when we fly high, high into gratitude's arms. Happy New Day, beautiful soul. Till next time we play. Lots of love, Maddie. So let's fly high, fly, fly, fly. Let's look after this earth, this one temple that we've been given stewardship over. You know, follow the sun. Water is life. Water is clever. You know, we're starting to understand that. Yeah, we're really starting to understand that. So I wonder where we'll wander, right? Every moment, I'm a little more aware something is let go. Let's find peace. Let's all work together. Let's flow. Each one of us is an author that pens the fates onto the pages of time. Choose each act carefully, knowing none can be withdrawn. Errors may be compensated for, but never erased. We are all authors. The world is our story. Love. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. When someone judges you, condemns you, or forms an opinion of you, it says nothing about you, but a lot about them. but we're all one, okay? And I guess as we judge each other, we're judging ourselves and the world that we live in. So, I want to help create positive change. I want to start this, well, I am starting this blog. This is it, right? And I'm going to call humanity out on our shit. I'm going to own it as well. And I've been cleaning up one temple with my wife and my parents. And I know that we all have a lot of good intentions, but sometimes it's only enough for us to take care of ourselves, and then we feel like we can't take care of anything else. And we've lost that tribal connection of community. But, I just want you to know that, we can find peace from above, peace from love, peace from earth, peace from birth. And this is what I'm thinking of, the future generations. What kind of world, what kind of closed environment are we leaving them? Please understand this. It's not as simple as hopping from one country to the next, thinking that, yay, I can move to maybe Australia, the air is cleaner and fresher. But we're all affected. It'll affect us all eventually. It already has. We're just not aware of it. But I know that we're not quite captive and we're not quite free, but we can be. And we just have to understand the reality of our situation. And we can do this. We can send these positive messages out through art. She looked at me like I was a work of art. And then I realized not only was I treasured art, but also the artist. Clean after yourself, okay? We can do this. Most definitely, we can do this. Love one another. Smile, live. The blessings of the temple of earth, our one temple, our home, are priceless, okay? Choose love, be stroft. Earth is just without art. We got this, humanity. We've got this, okay? Come on, we can do this. Here's another artwork that was initially created by Hario, and then everyone else just added to it. And I love that. Collaboration, right? Collaboration. And so welcome to Aladdin's Cave. This is Aladdin's Cave. You can see there's a whole stack of doonas and cushions and pillows and things like that, because sometimes this whole floor was filled with people that had literally come off the streets. This whole floor was filled with people that somehow heard about one temple and came here because they knew that they could get something to eat, and they knew that they could sleep here and have shelter, right? Especially in winter when it was really, really cold. And we had a fireplace going. We even had a projector up here. Oh, can you see it? Oh, yeah, there's a little wire cage thing. We'd have the projector in. I'd have my little iMac here. And, we'd put on movies and stuff like that. And we didn't have enough money to afford a separate Wi-Fi account at that time. So we were piggybacking off my Wi-Fi from my house just at the back there. So sometimes we'd have to move a laptop or the computer right over towards this wall so that we could piggyback off the Wi-Fi. It was hilarious. And then we have other people that did inspired spiritual artwork. Just absolutely incredible. Amazing. Wow. Amazing. Beautiful. And here's where I guess I help refine my own art as well, and I call it flaring. Maybe you guys will check some of that out later. I'm not really doing a lot of flaring right now. I'm just making this on my phone. And I like creating little nooks and spaces for people to chill out and just have some mindful time, read something, something positive, something good, or learn to express themselves in ways that they never even knew they could, right? Reminds me of Dorothy's shoes from Wizard of Oz. So that's the other thing too about One Temple, is that as people would come in through the door, I would just say to them, welcome home, because I wanted it to be a home for them as well. Somewhere, like, home is where the heart is, and so I just wanted it to be a place where they knew that they would feel love unconditionally. I didn't care if someone was an ice addict. I didn't care if someone was hooked on something. I mean, I've been hooked on things before, you know, not so extreme, but other things. But I know that I've gone on extreme journeys. I wanted to delve into the spiritual and the shamanic, and I did. And I had my own experiences here where my own, what people call drug use, but I see it as something different. But I do understand the difference between use and abuse. And I did abuse things for a while there. And it took me to a very, very dark place. And I know that people have been to perhaps darker places than I have. I don't know if they've been on some of the crazy spiritual journeys I've been on, but I know I've seen things, and I know that I don't want that fate for any of us. So I hope you understand that. So yeah, here's some more art that people have done here. This is another one by Lucy. I can't remember who this was. Maddie knew who it was. This is from a postcard from a friend, Wuda, who does amazing things with this, what he's created called Global Tea Hut. Dude, I know this isn't quite Global Tea Hut tea, but yeah, and I wonder if we can change this disposable society to be not so disposable. Here's some more artwork. Crystals. And then here's the garden out in the back of Aladdin's cave. And so this garden, we started growing some of our own vegetables and things like that. The pumpkin's taking off and going wild. But yeah, a lot of it's become overgrown. We miss people like Lucas, who was amazing at helping us tend to the garden. You know, he also came from a Stony Creek permaculture farm and just really helped us, you know, create, you know, these beautiful garden beds. And you know, we had all the intentions of making this self-sustainable in this urban environment, but it's a lot harder than we thought. And like, I really wish that we had Tesla generators. I really wish that maybe even we just had Tesla tiles. We had, you know, water catchment and water recycling ability or something like that, and filters that would just make it clean, you know, for drinking and for nourishing our garden and things like that. Imagine some machine able to, every time you flush the toilet, it takes that raw sewage and is able to convert it into fresh drinking water, and then turns the sewage into compost for our plants. You know, just things like that. I want to dream big. I want us to all dream big, and for all of us to implement those dreams and make it into something, you know? And so, I mean, look at this inspired artwork. You know, I just look at it and I go, wow, you know, here's this sun. Maybe we're feeling things are getting hotter and burning us up. And here we are in our little closed environment, you know? And we're not going to be receiving any water from anywhere else. And this is our blue little planet, right? And let's be grounded, and let's show love, and know that We have stewardship over this beautiful planet and everything in it, and we need to take care of it. And here's where we would have storage space and tools and maker space. So I'd donate all of my tools and stuff. A lot of it wasn't really taken good care of, but maybe we can work on that for next time. You know, this has been, you know, the prototype, and I know things that work and things that don't work now, and it's given me a lot of insight. And I think one of the main things is self-sufficiency. In a space like this, we need to be able to take care of the survival needs, and once the survival needs are taken care of, then we're able to take care of everything else. Here's another one of Tom's amazing artworks. Yeah. At one stage we even had Tom's artworks all strewn up over here as well. It just looked like an amazing bush to a festival. So much fun. You know, we'd try to not use dryers where possible. You know, high consumer of money and energy. I am an energetic vampire. Turn me off, please. We're meant to be sustainable and shit, aren't we? Yes, we are. And so we're doing our best. And so one of the things that I noticed in this community as well is that we would try to upcycle a lot of things, but then we would just be gathering a lot of stuff from the streets to upcycle. And I just want to show you, this is some of the stuff that we pulled off the streets. There's a whole side of the house filled with people's junk that they've thrown away and that I now have to throw away. And I think the estimate on a mini skip or something like that is going to cost me $2,000. So it's $2,000 I don't really have, but you know, I'm just going to do what I can do. But this is the story of one temple, and I don't want it to end there, because I don't believe that 14 Short Street, Lionsgate, one temple, I don't think the story ends there. I think there's a lot of hope, and I think we can change a lot in our whole one temple, this whole darn amazing, beautiful planet that we live in, this beautiful bubble, right? So please, humanity, let's respect our temple. It's ours. There's no other home that we have. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't think we've got like vehicles yet where we can all jump over to Mars and look at Mars. It looks like a desert, right? Where else are we gonna go? Where else are we gonna go? There's nowhere else. So the change has to start now. And this is the thing. This is the thing. And so it's 2018. It's 2018, everyone. And I believe we can all make a change. I believe that we can make a New Year's resolution, a new humanity resolution, a new human resolution to be better stewards of our home, of our temple, and take 14 Short Street, Lionsgate, one temple as an analogy for the state of our planet. Look at it. Look at it. Intentions are one thing, but intentions without action is another thing. So I really hope that we can make this happen. I love you, humanity. I'm so grateful for all of you and everyone out there doing good things, good people doing good things. And that's what I, as an artist, want to help to share with the rest of the world. And so I'm going to do my best to do that. But I'm only one person. I'm only one man. And I don't know if one man can change the world. but I know that we can, right? And I'm trying not to cry, but I just feel so passionate about this, and I want to make a change. And I feel such a beautiful connection with nature and with humanity and with everything. Everything. And this is our one temple. We have only got one. So please help this one person. Help you. Help all of us. Because we got this. And we can do this. I love you. I love you. Let's show our temple, our home, the love it deserves in whatever way that you worship. But take those intentions and turn them into actions, and let's do something. Let's do something. It's time to put the guns away. It's time to stop just spending money on military, and it's time to actually start fixing our home. Okay? We need to fix our home. So I love you. Happy New Day. Happy New Day. All of this starts today. Happy New Day. We've got this planet Earth. May our principles and our actions stand for Earth's family, and may they be positive and good ones. I love you.